called Brother Raven. In chorus sings a morning song to a clear blue diamond sky. Crystal light shines from the dawning sun. Warm winds dance and weave their way into the open hearts and minds of the living beauty that surrounds and enfolds the gift of life we share in gratitude with the rainbow of life, which is the very nature of our being. And this one here is actually a good beginning place of a poem for the talk that I'm about to give. It's called, and the painting that this poem went with was the donation of the chocolate that we have out there. It was bought by the man who owns the chocolate plantation, and he traded me 1/3 the price of the painting for chocolate, which was really very good because it was a Mayan painting. And it's called Shaman Returning from the Portal of the Pleiades. Shaman becomes stardust. Shaman reborn from stardust. Biophotons streaming in rhythmic message of living light, transmitting to all worlds, all suns, all possible paths. Shaman returns from the portal with the Pleiadian biophoton codex. Message, the returning of Kukulkan, the union of the harmonious male and female, active and receptive, the transformation of light and life, leaving the old forms, having the vision of the novel models of the singularity, the homo luminous, the new life, returning the ancient bonds of life as it manifests into the continuity of their original heart and mind that we all share. So the title of this talk, which came to me about a few minutes before it was to begin, is The Origins of Art. And that is sort of a question. From whence are the origins of art? And the consequences of the merging of art, science, and nature, and how that as a field of three energies coming together is fusing the new models of forms that will become the plan and the guiding principles that we need to understand and share with all those whose hearts and ears and eyes and minds are opening with awakened consciousness of the present moment. And when I posed the question to myself, origins of art, I looked to my own origins and how I connected with art. And I find that from the earliest times of my life, I was infused with an energy that was mysterious and overpowering, and created in me a fear that I had to understand in order to move into the depths of art. And I believe, from my own experience, which I do share with others, that art as a model of expression of the awakened moment and the deep penetration of the mysteries that surround us and are part of the wholeness of our eternal being and existence stems from the shaman. In the shaman, in the sense of those who have knowingly and willingly put themselves through various means, meditation, ingestion of psychoactive substances, or the release of those chemicals that are already inside of us, which are psychoactive, which we know generally only occur to humans upon birth and death, to enter and to leave the world. But some of us who have had the privilege of having these things occur to us and have been able to go from this world into other worlds and then come back with a message. And I believe that was the origin of art, that the shaman went on the journey and brought back the message and had to express it to the rest of all those in the community that he was an integral part in, or she was an integral part in, and that became the basis for the expression of the spiritual, the expression of trying to understand the mystery that surrounded us in our earliest times. And that has evolved, though. So the main idea is the shamanistic journey that opens up the soul and the artist to the transcendent moment, which allows them to rise up above the great sorrows that inhabit our world and the huge ignorance that pervades the oceans of suffering that reside on this particular planet. And what happens is they go into a place where they can bring back a message of wholeness, of oneness, of integration, of beauty, of understanding, that once one enters that field, one can share that. And all great art, I believe, takes one to that place. James Joyce wrote in the diary of a young American artist, he extracted from Thomas Aquinas a wonderful observation that art has three basic qualities that needs to be contained within it in order for it to fulfill its purpose of introducing us to the transcendent, to the wholeness of who we are, and introduce us to the ability to have joy and happiness and the great sorrows that exist around us, so that we can be beacons of energy that will heal those who are suffering, and at least offer them the opportunity to embrace those energies. Because if they don't exist in our culture, we have no way to connect with them and anchor into what I call the golden moments. And those are the moments of awakened consciousness that bring us to recognize the present moment and its preciousness. So this teaching, the three parts that are most important were called Integritas, which means wholeness; Consonatia, which is harmony. Harmony has to exist in the wholeness that we create. And in wholeness, and like a painting or a sculpture is, there's a space that the form occupies. You draw a line around the space, that becomes a sacred space where the artist is allowed to pour in the energy of color, form, shape, all the dynamics that become a painting or a sculpture or a dance or a song. And if wholeness is there and harmony is brought into that space, the result is Claritas, which is the radiance that comes out of the completed piece of art. And it's that radiance that connects with the light being that we are, and integrates us into the great pattern of light that is woven through all of creation and all of the worlds and dimensions that we have yet explored. We don't know one that doesn't have that light passing through it, because light itself is a great part of understanding where we are and who we are. And it used to be the shaman was able, and the seers and the mystics and the visionaries would bring back this information, and it was on their sincerity and their integrity and their genuineness that these messages were transmitted. But because in our world we have this polarity that I call the material world and the world of light. And the world of light and the material world are always exchanging energy, because the material world is really the world of light at a lower frequency. And as we go through the frequencies, from the lowest frequencies to the high, the electromagnetic spectrum opens us up into vision, into sound, and then into the invisible realms that only the shamans were perceiving. Well, interestingly enough, because of the revolution that has happened in science, that the science is now connecting to the spiritual, and we now know that the invisible world is the majority of the world, and the material world is the minority. One example of this that is becoming very, very profound and apparent is what they call the superhuman bionome. And what we have discovered is that the world of the microorganisms, which until very recently have been hidden from us, from our vision, normal vision, and now science has developed the tools for us to peer into the invisible worlds. And what they're finding is that if you take all the cells in the human body and you count each one as an individual entity working together in harmony to create who we are, it is 1/10 of the organism that we are. The rest of our organism is invisible, and it consists of microbes and viruses that have shaped who we are. And when they become out of balance, we become out of balance in the physical world. So they discovered, like, as an example, right here in our elbow on the inside, there are 17 different colonies of millions and millions of organisms that keep this part of our skin from cracking. And so there's an exchange of energy. They live on us, and we live in harmony when we're in harmony with them. And it's the idea that now we can peer out into the universe and find other planets that are Earth size. We all knew and know from intuitively that these places exist, but now science is bringing those worlds to us in a way that is challenging the ignorance of the construction that we have